Boy, I made a mistake, but I just didn't know any better. And I'm going to talk to you about it here on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And this is no way, shape, or form clickbait. I made a mistake, and it's because I just didn't know any better. And actually, in hindsight, I know that one or more of you actually kind of told me this in previous videos, and I just never came across it, and it never really registered. Sometimes you actually have to have something happen to you before the light goes off, and you say to yourself, wait, a viewer or two way back in the day warned me about this, but I just maybe never noticed it until recently. So it starts with this. I had a return that I received the other day, and it's for a dog wheelchair, but we sold the thing for I think it was $52, and it was a $39 refund after I deducted $13, which is 25%. And the reason why I deducted 25% was they returned it back to me, but I don't know if they realized this or not, but their dog chewed on one of the plastic clips or the latches, and it damaged it to the point where I have to sell it as used with defects rather than just used, you know. And anytime something has an issue, I think people tend to pass. But there's nothing structurally wrong with the wheelchair. It just has that clasp issue where it was chewed up. That's what I received back from the buyer. They had claimed that they bought the wrong size. Well, maybe it's that, or maybe they realized their dog chewed the hell out of the item and they just decided to send it back. But according to eBay policy, whenever you receive something that's in a different condition than what you sent out, and of course my product photos do not show any such damage, then you are entitled to deduct up to 50%. Now, trying to be the good boy that I am, I'm trying to follow the eBay guidelines, and it's not a total loss on this item, so I deducted 25% instead of in the past I would deduct 50%. And that's where I went wrong, because if you can see this breakdown here, the refund amount you owe usually should not match the refund that the buyer is receiving. It should be adjusted with your eBay fees removed from that equation. So I should be really being refunding $32-ish back to eBay when this is all said and done, because of the eBay fees are normally given back to you. But what I didn't realize, and what some of you have warned me about, but it just didn't register until now, and hopefully I can kind of educate you guys as to what's happening here. So you guys know how the refund tool works, right? If you offer free returns, 30-day returns, you can be really any status under top rated seller and be able to access the tool. However, if you are top rated or better, you just simply have to offer 30-day returns. It doesn't have to be free. The buyer pays can work just fine. If you offer no returns, no such protections, you're not going to get this tool. So that's another reason why you shouldn't offer no returns. But if you receive that return back, let's say you're like me and you don't offer free 30-day returns on a lot of your larger items, then what happens is, if you get it back and the item is used or damaged, then you mark it used or damaged. In the refund tool, you will not get any of your fees back for the amount that you refund the buyer. So back to my example here, I ended up giving them a refund of $39, which is $13 deducted, right? When in fact, I'd say most of that should have been returned to me by eBay in what I owed them, but because I marked it used or damaged, and I do not offer free 30-day returns, eBay will not give me a final value fee refund, nor will they give me a refund of any other fees, promoted listing fees as well. So that's the mistake that I made, because I deducted 25%. So I guess the moral of the story is I could do one of two things. I could offer free returns, and a lot of you offer free returns, but if you know the type of items that I ship, you see right over my head, I'm shipping larger boxes. So for me, free returns is not in the equation. I'm not in the market of offering a free $30 return label to someone who buys a toilet seat and just doesn't like the way it fits on their butt. Okay, I'm not in the market or in the business to do that. So I've made a business decision to not offer free returns. The other option is to stop deducting fees under 50%. So if it's egregious enough to adjust the refund, then I need to be at 50% when I'm adjusting the refund. It doesn't make any sense to follow eBay's refund guide, the one that I went over last week, if all it's going to do is cause you to be at a wash anyway. If I deduct $13 from a buyer's refund at 25%, and eBay, because maybe 10% promoted with 13 point whatever percent final value fees, well, that's going to be a wash. 25%, 24%, right? So it makes no sense to utilize the refund tool and offer a partial refund or adjust it so it is a partial refund unless you're deducting more than 25%, if that makes sense. So maybe you're not promoting at 10%. Well, I guess it still can make sense to adjust the refund, but just know, if you're not offering free returns, you're not going to get your fees back at all. Whatever that is, whatever you're into that item for, into eBay fees. So you could be into it for 13 point whatever percent. It's depending on the category you're selling the item in. Sometimes it's much lower than that. Plus whatever you decide to promote. So let's say you're promoting at 2%. Well, when it's all said and done, you're losing 13 plus 2, 15% in fees towards that refund, and you're basically, if you do 25%, you're a net gain of 10%, if that makes sense. To me, it's just not worth messing with unless it's worth deducting 50%. So that's the mistake that I made, not knowing, not understanding. And yes, I've seen many of the comments that people have made in the past that if you give a partial refund using the refund tool, that you're not getting your final value fees or your promoted listing fees back. But I never noticed that with me, and in this case it's very much case by case, because one item you can have free returns and another item you can have buyer pays returns, and the system's going to treat each item differently when you're utilizing the refund tool. Okay, so maybe that is something that I need to look at more closely for maybe smaller items, to allow buyers to have free returns on anything under 2 pounds. I think I've talked about doing that before, but I just haven't taken the time to mess with it. This particular item was 4 pounds. So, it's one of those things that's going to cost like $15 to generate a return label. A lot of times, like this particular person, they returned it because the item didn't fit. And had I had free returns, it would have been an additional like $14, $15 that would have been out of my pocket. So I'm not all that mad about it, to be honest with you. We're not talking about a whole lot of money here, but it's just understanding how eBay works, guys. It's understanding what options that you should be selecting for your business model, okay? And just understand what the consequences are of being a top-rated seller versus being below standard, okay? Understanding what offering free returns offers versus buyer pays, and we're not even going to discuss no returns because there is no such thing. So that's just something I wanted you guys to understand, and until now I didn't understand it myself, and so it was hard to do a video when people bring it to my attention when I didn't have all the information and all the facts. And eBay has it right here in writing that refunds that don't qualify for seller fee credits, and right there in the yellow, you deduct a portion of a buyer's refund because they return the item used or damaged, okay? And then it says only applies to eligible sellers. And then when you go to that little link there, it says an item is returned after it was used or damaged by the buyer. Now remember, used or damaged. And it says sellers who offer free returns and who are not below standard are eligible for this protection. Okay, meaning that you can utilize, when you're looking at the refund tool, as you can see here, you have 4 options. You can put item was opened, item was used, item was damaged, or item was missing parts. Now, according to eBay's policy, if you select item was used, let's say you sent them a new item and they used the hell out of it, right? If you deduct that for that reason, or if the item was damaged, so again, you sent them a really good item and it came back just beat to hell, then you mark one of those 2 and you do not offer free returns, then guess what? You're pretty much nullifying the money you're retaining from the buyer because you're not getting your final value fees and your promoted listing fees back. So I guess you could choose item was opened. So maybe you have an electronics item and you can tell it's been tampered with, that type of thing. Or item was missing parts. Maybe it had accessories and they only sent back the main thing and not the accessories. If you select one of those 2 options as the reason for the partial refund, according to eBay's policy, because it's not written that way, it doesn't say item opened or item was missing parts as the 2 reasons that they will retain your final value fees and your promoted listing fees, then you should be okay. But if you utilize either item was used or item was damaged as your reason for adjusting the return and making an adjustment on the buyer's refund, then just know you're not going to get those fees back. That's normally credited back to you when you do a refund. And for that reason, if I'm going to adjust a buyer's refund, it better be egregious enough to be at least 50%, or I'm not even going to mess with that feature anymore. Unless it's an opened item or missing parts. So I want to know what you guys think. Hopefully what I said made sense, and that's why I provided the screenshot so you can maybe follow along and then eventually see the policies that I'm talking about. You know, we talk about returns. Thankfully, they're a very small percentage of your sales. For me, they're a bit on the higher side because I do deal with liquidation. And while we do our due diligence to try to make sure that a lot of these items are exactly as we described, sometimes we can, you know, overlook something because we can't always test every feature when we do just a basic test of an item if it's an electronics item. So we do the best that we can, and sometimes we get returns, and sometimes we get returns where a buyer selects the wrong reason, you guys know this, for just so they can get the free return label. And so they say item not described or item arrived damaged or whatever it was, and then that counts as a ding against your return ratio. But being a seller of everything, pretty much I have to have high returns in one category for that to really hurt me, if that makes sense. And so I have a lot of different categories that I sell in, so having a higher return ratio isn't going to really hurt me so bad as, say, someone who sells in a niche with the same return ratio that I have, if that makes sense. So hit the like button, guys. I certainly would appreciate that. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content that we put out, and hit that notification bell so when we go live or make another video, you're going to be notified. So hopefully we'll see you guys on the live stream today. This is Monday morning when the video is being released, so hopefully we'll see you this afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to see new faces. We'd love for you to join in and just bring your reselling questions. Maybe there's something that you're dealing with right now that involves reselling, and maybe you want advice of not just me, but other seasoned resellers who frequent the channel. I think normally we have about 150 plus people that tune in watching the live. So if I don't have the answer, I'm sure someone has the answer. And it's always just a good time to come and hang out, meet other resellers, and learn from not only my experiences, but others as well. And that's the beauty about the community that we've developed on this channel. So come and hang out with us if you can. Again, that's 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Flipping ain't easy, and I hope to see you there. But you know, look, guys, dealing with all the intricacies, right, of being a top-rated seller, of offering free 30-day returns, you know, they have their pros and cons, I guess, but these are decisions you have to make for your business, and these decisions just confirm one thing, that flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to your day, and we will talk to you very soon.